Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Mr. Fulton, the staff, and the students of the school, I would like to welcome you to this, the 29th valediction ceremonies of Cowichan Senior Secondary School. It is pleasant to see so many parents and friends of our 400 young people who will be coming across this stage tonight. On the back of the program, we have acknowledged our debt to a number of individuals and groups who have helped to make tonight possible. In addition, I would like to express our very sincere thanks to Mr. John Room of the Community Center staff, who has been more than helpful in preparing the arena for tonight's festivities. And also, I'd like to add a further word of thanks to Mr. Jim Jickling and the art students of the school for the way in which they have decorated the arena. We will start out tonight with a processional. It is done in two halves, as you can see by your program. We would ask, as the students come across the stage, would you please hold your applause until the last student in each section has gone through. Otherwise, this is going to make it an extremely long evening. There will be a musical interlude, as you see by your program. We would ask you to remain seated during that. A more mundane matter, there is a gold Celica parked in the parking lot with its lights on. We are ready now to begin. Mr. Peterson, if you please.
Curry.
Sylvia Smith.
Barbara Covey.
Christine Lacey.
Sean Pattenden.
Sean Hutton.
Lisa Douglas.
Greg Lundahl.
Gail Carone.
Jean Saint-Amand.
Maurice de Groot.
Carolyn Brown.
Francine Kuipers. Right there, Dave.
Sherry Tilburg.
Dale Kenyon. Right there.
Steve Nielsen.
Tracy Iverson.
Anita Paluzzi.
Curtis Terry.
Dean Miller.
Anna Stinnison.
Barbara Shampoo.
Anita Mayer.
Andy Hayes.
Donna Elliott.
Lavon Gall.
Mark Modeste.
Benny Latanzi.
Adrienne Cooper.
Laura Pinkerman.
Jim Larson.
Russell Mitten.
Suzanne Jansen.
Lisa Hayton.
Alan Cox.
David Hill.
Cindy Zygmunt.
Donna Osborne.
Stephen Savola.
Chris Brain.
Rhonda Grocher.
Maureen McKay.
Bruce Ogg.
Brent Souza.
Mary MacDonald.
Bonnie Pretty.
Douglas Turlock.
Chris Verwolf.
Brenda DeRosier.
Valerie Dexter.
Brian Stott.
Thank you. Mark Backness.
Elaine McClellan.
Elna Sebring.
Ray DeGraff.
Craig Naherniak.
Terry Jahelka.
Wendy Little.
Norman Lowe.
Tom Henry.
Beth Crawford.
Sheila Hurd.
Glenn Derwin.
Clive Theobald.
Chloe Sharp.
Carrie Bennett.
Wilf Vink.
Martin Coors.
Miriam Casbergen.
Rosemary Zavarelli.
Ron Van Jarsveld.
Bruce Dill.
Renee Timmer.
Dee Dee Banwell.
Shirley Grunwald.
Marcy Lederer.
Carol McDonald.
Valinder Dude.
Troy Stewart.
Jeff Fielden.
Christine Seifert.
Alana Wilson.
Calvin Nowicki.
Vincent Moo.
Catherine Morris.
Jackie Conders.
Ken Noten.
Tony Saremba.
Diana Dunn.
Marion Saunders.
Louise Quist.
Sean McDowell.
Natalie Stanko.
Celia Courchain.
Betty MacDonald.
Herb Morgan.
Joanne Callowert.
Karen Grill.
Vera Shakovsky.
Sukhbir Basra.
Sandra Strang.
Marie Mitcheltree.
Corinne Lockmanitz.
Tim Jackson.
Dorothy Inez French.
Jane Hutchinson.
John Martin.
Colin Shampoo.
Helen Toliander.
Heather Fairbairn.
Lynn Mackenzie.
Glenn Fiegel.
Christine Wilkerson.
Susan Campbell.
Cindy Wilson.
Randy Hughes.
Sheila Bawa.
Brenda Rosendahl.
Dave Bawa. All right. Okay.
Walter Rolls.
Susan Pasetka.
Palvinder Badjo.
Joseph Scales.
David Prangley.
Connie Latter.
Susie Jung.
Leo Parody.
Roland Chow.
Debbie Menzies.
Eleanor Gardner.
Ken Jung.
Bruce Carnegie.
Karen Roderick.
Jennifer Mountain.
Diane Morris. Whoops. Whoops.
Jeremy Webb.
Leah Bulcock.
Joanne Tyler.
Kathy Isaac.
Celinder
All right.
Kular.
Jackie Crocker.
Lori Thompson.
Karen Scott.
George Parrott.
Shelley Holt.
McFarland.
Shirley Wong.
Keith Taylor.
Sheila Stewart.
Kathy Harper.
Leanda Gooding.
Graham Cocker.
Janice Bowers.
Aline Plum.
Brian Cornish.
Karen Cooper.
Cynthia Keeber.
Mike Mueller.
Curtis Kowaliak.
Jennifer Croick.
Janice Robertson.
John Custers.
Bradley Briscoe.
Kelly McKernan.
Anna Marie Strobel.
Bob Marshall.
Colin Gunn.
Kim Mary.
Wilma Pronk.
Darren Mather.
Peter DeVries.
Gina Marie McKay.
Laurie Mosowich.
Guy Blanchette.
Right. Andrea Christensen.
Karen Slade.
Tracy Mawson.
Eugene Smith.
Marcel Erkelens.
Mary Braithwaite.
Glenda Behrens.
Jody Williams.
James Botter.
Megan Jory.
Shelley Wager.
Mark Paskin.
Stephen Kirkness.
Karen Branting.
Michelle Lowe.
Stephen Dalloway.
Greg Ross.
Teresa Kieber.
Carol Bordian.
Jim Norris.
Kim Saunders.
Sherry Wade. Wilhelmina Van Ewen.
Donna Kasipi.
Linda Carone.
Bill Day.
Cornell Vandenberg.
Francis McNeil.
Kelly Clegg.
Sue Huizinga.
Ben Whitaker.
Kathleen Tuckey.
Julie Samard.
Tom Smith.
Margaret Gillett.
Julie Nelson.
Brian Robertson.
Dale Jocelyn.
Cheryl Gowder.
Linda Jang.
Greg Anderson.
Larry Dahl.
Denise Smiley.
Raylene Vaisness.
Diana Bujol.
Stephen Banks.
Carol Weismuller.
Kathy Sloan.
Jimmy Chan.
Karen Beers.
Kimberly Williams.
Tracy Owen.
Danny Thorne.
Fern Kaiser.
Joanne Van Weren.
Virginia Lewis.
Andy Tufel.
Greg Connolly.
Janet Jung.
Marianne Fall.
Tom Eklund.
Mark Lewis.
Margaret Chu.
Irene DeLange.
Wayne Jung.
Rajinder Dolawal.
Linda Kitchenham.
Jennifer Kay.
Jeffrey Chan.
Wayne Jackson.
Manjit Atwal.
Michelle Crakey.
Sukhvinder Man.
Daryl Griffith.
Manjeet Saul.
Karen McInnes.
Ranjit Saul.
Glenn Naylor.
Teresa Ng.
Sue Bradshaw.
Debbie White.
Mark Rowley.
Carol Wasson.
Dawn Hastings.
Ernie Minkowitz.
Robbie Chowan.
Karen Bercier.
Terry Crew.
Mark Harrison.
Fred Holgate.
Christine Kletke.
Melody Hayes.
Mark Jones.
Graham J. Bodwell.
Angela McNeil.
Joanna Kitt.
David Marsden.
Darren Hamilton.
Patsy Tom.
Cheryl Court.
Douglas Shorter.
Daniel Bechtel.
Heather Blasco.
Tracy Coleman.
Elliot Cole.
Shelley Fraser.
Karen Bergman.
Lindsay Cotton.
Wayne Hankins.
Alex Gallagher.
Janice Irwin.
Lita Robinson.
Bob Langelo.
Larry Boyd.
Corrine Vanek Veenstra.
Kathy Drew.
Gerald Cobbold.
David Desotel.
Kathy Schmidt.
Livleen Mangat.
Peter Langelo.
Lawrence Grigg.
Wendy Irish.
Arlene Johansson.
Stephen Voller.
David Baker.
Heather Bennett. Jonathan Williams.
And finally, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce a young lady who has come from New Zealand as a Rotary exchange student to study at Cowichan Secondary. I know she's already made many friends here, and she has all our good wishes for the remainder of her stay in Canada. Miss Corinne Russ.
Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 1979. Mrs. Dixon just introduced Corinne Russ, who is our exchange student from New Zealand. This morning, we received a cable from Corinne's counterpart, Kristen Benedict, the student from Cowichan, who is now in New Zealand. It is addressed to her classmates. It reads, From Warkworth, New Zealand, good day, mates. Congratulations and all the best in the future from the land of the Kiwis. Kristen Benedict. I would now like to call on the lady who has been on stage with me the last few minutes, the chairwoman of the Board of School Trustees of School District 65, Mrs. Joan Gillett, who not only is the chairperson of our school board, but is also the mother of a member of the class of 79. Mrs. Gillett.
Thank you, Mr. Corson. Parents, guests, teachers, students, especially the graduating class. Over the many years since my graduation from Victoria High School, I have heard many speeches to graduating classes and have found that they tended to follow a common pattern. Usually they detail the terrible troubles in the world, and almost always they throw out a challenge to the graduates to go forth, work hard, and solve the world's problems. Sometimes the speaker admits that his own generation has made a real mess of things and has failed to deal effectively with the evils of society. His message to the graduates is to go and do better. Graduates, this is not my message to you. For one thing, I am certainly not going to tell you how poorly my generation has done. As a matter of fact, I believe my generation has not done too badly, considering the obstacles in our way. We grew up in the Depression and graduated into the latter part of World War II, the big one, as Archie Bunker says. We had a third and continuing handicap, which was not as obvious as the Depression or a war, and this is that we have never been the in generation. We have never been envied or sought after for our counsel. No other age group has ever wished that they had been our age instead. We were far too young to be the flaming youth in the 20s, and too old to be the beatniks in the 50s or the hippies in the 60s. A few of our guys made it as post-war angry young men, but they were more generally regarded as being an out rather than an in group. So my generation on the whole has missed it all around. The reason I mention this to you graduates is that I suspect our situations may be parallel. Not as far as the Depression and the war go, but relative to being in. What evidence have I for my suspicion? Well, you all know what year this is. The International Year of the Child. And you just missed it. Too old to be classed as a child, and hopefully not yet a parent. This is not the only clue that I have that your generation is out. It was only a few weeks ago that I read in the paper that youth has had its day and middle age is in. This is according to Jerry Olston, research director of an important New York advertising agency. Mr. Olston reports that American marketers and advertisers are about to switch their attention to the middle-aged consumer, since middle age suddenly is where it is at. I hope you in the graduating class will not find this too depressing, but I felt you should know. However, the main point of my message to you is one of comfort and reassurance. As I mentioned earlier, I believe my generation has done fairly well, in spite of initial and continuing obstacles. With admittedly many setbacks and many exceptions, we have made our world a little better, which is all that any generation can be expected to do. I don't have to detail the technological advances made in my time. I'm sure you are all familiar with them. Although, since you grew up with them, they probably didn't impress you as much as they did me. The technological advance that impressed me most was a manned landing on the moon, something that in my youth was a wild fantasy of science fiction writers. The one that has delighted me the most was holography. That's the science that produces ephemeral images that dance in space. And the ones of most use to me personally are self-cleaning ovens and self-defrosting refrigerators. And all my generation's advances have not been technological. Many have been social, particularly in the field of healthcare, in human rights, and even a few in education. Probably the most noticeable social progress has been in the awareness of the importance of the environment. When I was young, pollution was accepted as a necessary and inevitable evil, and I did not even hear the word ecology until I was in my 30s. I mention all of these advances not as a matter of pride, for I know better than you that my part in them is infinitesimal, and that what remains to be done is much greater than what has been done. Nevertheless, my generation, without ever being recognized as an in-group, has contributed substantially to the betterment of mankind. Your generation is probably going to share mine's fate of always being unrecognized and unhonored, at least by New York's advertising agencies, but that does not limit your chances to make a valuable contribution. Probably the furthest thing from your minds tonight is making a valuable contribution. This is Grad night, and your feelings are a chaotic mixture of elation and sadness, expectation and nostalgia. But somewhere amid your whirling thoughts tonight, take a few moments to remember the thousands of your contemporaries who are not here, nor in a similar hall celebrating the successful completion of their basic education. Millions of young people in the world today face a future not only uncertain, but extremely precarious. You and your peers in the Western world are the princes of the realm, by world standards well-fed, well-housed, and well-educated. And as princes, you have a responsibility to use your riches well. The first step toward doing this is to realize how rich you are. The second is to decide on your own personal goals. My generation's aim has been fairly modest, to make the world a little better. And in a modest way, we are achieving that goal. But we could certainly use some help. Would you care to join us?
Thank you, Mrs. Gillett. We come now to the very pleasant part of the program when we honor a very worthy group of young people who will receive scholarships, bursaries, and other awards. We start off with the Royal Canadian Legion, branch number 53, $1,000 bursary, which is restricted to the son, grandson, daughter, or granddaughter of a veteran, and it will be presented by Mr. Sandy Maynard.
Gives me great pleasure on behalf of the Royal Canadian Legion, branch 53, to call upon Daniel Bechtel. Whilst giving congratulations, I'd like to point out and hope that he's as proud as I to be the first donator of a bursary in this building.
The Rotary Club of Duncan gives two $600 scholarships the recipients must be proceeding to a recognized university or college for further training. Mr. Don Duncan will make the presentation.
On behalf of the Duncan Rotary Club, it's my pleasure tonight to present our 2 awards for scholastic achievement. The first recipient is Alec Gallagher. The second recipient is Celia Kershane.
The Duncan Lions Club gives a $600 bursary, which is open to any student who wishes to further their education at an approved post-secondary institution. We have with us tonight Mr. Pat Mullins to make the presentation.
On behalf of the Lions Club, I'd like to call to receive this bursary forward-thinking and hard-working little lady in blue, Wilma Pronk.
The Cowichan District Teachers Association gives the R.M. Lendrum Memorial Bursary of $540, which covers first-year fees at the University of Victoria. And it is given to a student who intends to pursue a career in education. The President of the Cowichan District Teachers Association, Ms. Wynne Lewis.
On behalf of the Cowichan District Teachers Association, it gives me great pleasure to present the Colonel Lendrum Bursary to Linda Carone.
The Cowichan chapter, IODE, gives the Shirley Murison Award, a $500 bursary presented to a girl proceeding to further training. Mrs. Marge Smith will make the presentation.
On behalf of the Cowichan chapter of the IODE, it gives me great pleasure to call on Margaret Gillett to accept our bursary.
The Trinity Western College at Langley offers a $500 bursary open to any student with a scholastic standing of not less than C+. Mr. Al McFarlane is here to make the award.
You know, when I look at these students up here tonight, the story of Cinderella has a little bit more meaning to me. I'm sure it's hard for some of the parents to really realize that these are the same children that go in and out to school each day. And so I congratulate them on the way they look tonight. They look tremendous. The Trinity Western College bursary is sponsored in this district by a number of the Christian churches in this area. The two bursaries of $500 each are available to any student in the School District 65 in either Cowichan Senior Secondary School or the Chemainus Secondary School. And this year, one goes to Cowichan High and one to the Chemainus High School. For any student planning to attend Trinity Western College in the year of 1979-1980. I would just like to say to the student that we've chosen this year, in the year when we've heard much about bilingualism, is planning to major in university in French. And I would like to call upon Lawrence Gregg.
The Yorktown Inn Award, $500 bursary awarded to a student who has proven academic excellence in the grade 12 year, offered by a very old and valued friend of the school, Mr. York Chu.
It gave me a very great pleasure to be sent a Yorktown scholarship to Miss Eleanor Ray Gardner.
When I said York was an old friend of the school, I didn't think that meant he couldn't climb the stairs twice. However, he doesn't wish to come up twice, so we'll now present the Ethel McKelvey Memorial Bursary, also given by York Chew. It's a $100 bursary given in memory of a great lady in the Cowichan Valley who gave many years of her life to teaching English to new Canadians.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. McKelvey was a great Canadian. 20-some years ago, a Chinese immigrant landed in Canada who understood and spoke very limited English. He attended a special tutoring classes in English with Mr. McKelvey, who was then a retired teacher. With her patience and understanding, developed in him a reasonable approach to the English language. Many new Canadians, especially Chinese, owe their command of second language to her dedication. I was one of her pupils, and it is in her memory that this bursary is made to continue Mr. McKelvey's spirit of rendering assistance when and where needed. I offer my congratulations to Ms. Jane Hutchinson.
Thank you, York. The Dogwoods chapter, Duncan Dogwoods chapter, IODE, gives a $450 bursary, which is presented to a student, preferably a girl, who is proceeding to a post-secondary education. This is Jean Jackson, please.
On behalf of the Duncan Dogwoods chapter of the IODE, I would like to congratulate all the 1979 graduating class. And it's my pleasure to present our bursary to Cindy Wilson.
Thank you, Mrs. Jackson. The Duncan and District Credit Union gives two $400 bursaries, one to a boy and one to a girl, who are either members of the credit union or are dependents of members. Mr. Doug Orr will make the presentations.
The Duncan and District Credit Union, as well as congratulating the graduating class, would like to make a special congratulations to Miss Elna Sebring and Mr. Jeffrey Chan.
Thank you, Mr. Orr. The Royal Canadian Legion, branch number 53, gives the May Bulcock Memorial Bursary of $400. The recipient must be the child or grandchild of a veteran. Mr. Fred Bulcock will come forward to make the presentation.
On behalf of the Royal Canadian Legion, I'd like to call on Sheila Hurd.
The Somnos District Award is a $400 bursary. The recipient must have at least 4 years of attendance at Somnos Elementary School. One of the teachers at the school, Miss Elaine Jones, will make the presentation.
On behalf of the students and teachers of Somnos School and parents of the Somnos community, I'm happy to present the Somnos Bursary to Rhonda Grocher.
Next, the Order of the Royal Purple, Duncan Lodge number 70, donates a $350 bursary to a girl showing academic progress and financial need. The presentation will be made by Mrs. Noreen Wilson.
On behalf of the Ladies of the Royal Purple, it gives me a great deal of pleasure to present our winner tonight, Miss Christy Mars, with her bursary.
Thank you, Mrs. Wilson. The Beta Sigma Phi sorority gives a $250 bursary to a student proceeding to post-secondary training or education in any field. Mrs. Deanne Cascon will make the presentation.
On behalf of Beta Sigma Phi, it gives me great pleasure to present this bursary to Betty Louise McDonald.
Thank you, Mrs. Cascon. The Cowichan District Hospital Employees Association annually gives a $250 bursary. Preference may, but not necessarily, be given to a student who is entering the fields of health studies. In the absence of Mrs. Daines, I would call on Rhonda Grocher to come forward. Thank you, Rhonda. The Cowichan Indian Band gives a bursary of $250 open to any band member who is in the class of 79. The homeschool coordinator, Mr. Fred George, is here tonight.
On behalf of the Cowichan Indian Band, I'd like to present this award to Miss Kimberly Williams.
Thank you, Fred, and congratulations, Kimberly. The Duncan Business and Professional Women's Club this year offers a $250 bursary presented to a young lady proceeding to post-secondary education. Could I call on Mrs. Noreen Wilson again, please?
Thank you. The Duncan Business and Professional Women's Club bursary winner this evening is Christine Seifert. Congratulations.
Mr. Bob Gilman annually gives a $250 bursary in honor and memory of his wife, Mrs. Emma Gilman. It is given to a student intending to pursue a career at a recognized vocational school. In Mr. Gilman's absence, I would like to present this to Ben Latanzi. The past presidents and charter members of the Ladies Auxiliary to the Fraternal Order of Eagles is giving a $250 bursary open to any student going on to post-secondary education. The presentation will be made by Mrs. Norma Hyde.
On behalf of the past presidents and charter members of the Ladies Auxiliary to the Fraternal Order of Eagles, it gives me great pleasure to present this bursary to Suzanne Jensen.
The Canet Club of Duncan this year gives two $200 bursaries to a boy or girl proceeding to further education. Mrs. Linda Callio, would you come forward, please?
On behalf of the Cadet Club of Duncan, I am pleased to present our two bursaries this year to Margaret Chu and Natalie Stanko.
The Women of the Moose annually give the Barbara James Memorial Bursary of $200, open to a boy or girl. Preference may be given to a student interested in working with children. This is Vernie Young.
Duncan Chapter, Women of the Moose, have chosen to present the Barbara James Memorial Bursary to Teresa Keeber. We are especially pleased in her decision to work with emotionally disturbed children, for we feel that a lot more help is needed in that particular field.
Thank you, Mrs. Young. The Cowichan Senior Secondary School 1978 graduating class this year give three $200 awards. They will be presented by members of last year's class, Miss Darlene Ricketts and Miss Brenda Fletcher.
Thank you, Mr. Corson. We'd just like to take this moment to wish all the graduating class of 1979 a prosperous and happy future.
On behalf of the 1978 graduates, we would just like to congratulate everyone, and we'd like to present these three $200 bursaries.
They are Jeffrey Chan,
Patsy Tom,
and Bindi Bidal.
The Ernest Gallivan Joe Keeber Memorial Bursary of $200 is given to a student who is a graduate of the Queen of Angels School. Mr. Poland will make the presentation.
On behalf of the Queen of Angels School, the staff, and the children, I would like to call upon Miss Tricia Keeper.
Annually, the St. Edward's Ladies Auxiliary give a $150 bursary to the memory of Elsie O'Connell and one to the memory of Bernadette Keeber. Mrs. Martha Kershane, would you come forward, please?
On behalf of the ladies of St. Edward's, I am pleased to present these two bursaries to the first, the Bernadette Keeber bursary to Wilma Pronk, and the Elsie O'Connell bursary to Jeffrey Chan.
The 50th Anniversary Ladies Auxiliary Royal Canadian Legion Branch number 226 Cobble Hill this year is giving a $100 bursary. The recipient must be the child or grandchild of a veteran and a graduate of the George Bonner Junior Secondary. Mrs. Edna Carruthers will make the award.
The Ladies Auxiliary of the Cobble Hill Branch 226, I would like to donate this bursary to Baleen Basin.
Thank you, Mrs. Carruthers. The Seroptimus Club of Duncan this year is giving a $100 bursary open to a girl who is continuing her education. It will be presented by Mrs. Jo Gooding.
The Sir Optimus Club of Duncan are pleased to present their bursary to Adrian Cooper.
Our thanks, Mrs. Gooding. The women of the Moose this year are presenting the Marion de Rossier Memorial Bursary of $100 given to either a boy or a girl. Mrs. Bernie Young once again, please.
On behalf of the Duncan Women of the Moose, I am pleased to present the Marion de Rossier Memorial Bursary to Raylene Baseness. This is the first time this bursary is being given, and it is for a nurse in training. For you see, Raylene has decided to be a registered nurse.
We would now like to recognize a student. Would Celia Courchain please come forward? This is an award not presented tonight. Last night, Celia got a very pleasant piece of news when she found out that she had received an entrance scholarship to the value of $700 to the University of Western Ontario in London, Ontario. The staff and her fellow students will agree that she will be a very good representative for the Cowichan Valley in Ontario.
Each year at this time, we like to acknowledge some of the awards that we give students within the school. We have 4 such awards, and tonight we are only recognizing them. What happens is their names are engraved and put on 4 plaques, such as you see here, and these plaques hang in the school. At our school awards night, the students who are recipients of these awards receive a keeper trophy. But we'd like very much to bring these students forward tonight for your recognition. The first award we call the Sportsperson of the Year Award, and this award is given to a student who contributes greatly to sports by working hard, by not giving up, and by demonstrating the qualities of leadership, good sportsmanship, and fair play. Team players of this caliber make a coaching job a distinct pleasure. And this year there are two people sharing this award, and perhaps I'll call them down here, and while they're on their way I'll tell you a little bit about them. Adriana Cooper and Craig Naherniak. Adriana is a member of the senior girls basketball team. She was a second-team All-Star in Vancouver Island. She assisted in promoting all girls sports in the school, and she was always around when a job needed to be done. She has been an excellent representative of our school at other schools where athletic tournaments have been played. Craig, captain of the senior boys volleyball and basketball teams, always a leader. He kept his composure and accepted even the poor calls by the officials. He showed by example and not by talk, and he encouraged his teammates at all times. Congratulations to both of you. For the Athlete of the Year, we are looking for a candidate who is an outstanding athlete in a number of areas. Someone who, in addition to his talent, exhibits dedication and hard work toward the steady improvement of their performance. Also this evening, two people are sharing this award: Jim Larson and Danny Thorne. Jim represented the school for the last 2 years in senior boys volleyball and basketball, and through hard work he has improved his skills to the point where he is now one of the best high school basketball players in the province. He is chosen the first All-Star in the Vancouver Island tournament, and he was chosen to represent Vancouver Island in the BCs. He is currently trying for the British Columbia Summer Games team. Danny Thorne has put forth an outstanding effort over the past 2 years in 3 sports: cross-country running, track and field, and senior basketball. He was awarded a trophy as the most improved basketball player, and he had an excellent showing this year in the Island finals in cross-country and track and field. Congratulations to both of you. The next award is a scholarship award. 4 times in each school year, we report on student progress and record those outstanding students on honor roll. These honor roll listings are reserved for students who have achieved academic excellence. There are a number of outstanding scholars in this year's graduating class, but there is one student who stands out above all in achievement: Margaret Gillett. This young lady completed 17 courses in the last 2 years with a record of 14 A's and 3 B's. In addition to her scholastic endeavors, she also served as president of the student government. The final award is a very important award. is an award we give to honor school citizenship. I suppose a school society is not at all unlike any other adult society outside of school. There are always those people who seem to carry the load and do the work. And these are the people that make the school a better place for students and for people like myself who work there. We have two people tonight that we would like to honor. Both of these people have shown, they're their fellow classmates, a great deal of dedication. They're always there when work has to be done. And they are just the kind of people that make things so much more pleasant for all concerned. Would you please join me in congratulating Susie Jung and Pindi Badyo. I guess you might say that's a thorn between two roses, eh?
I have an apology to make here. I skipped order and I neglected to call forth one bursary winner. Could I call on Mr. Sam Yates, please, to present the Karen Yates Memorial Award for the 4-H Club, a $125 bursary, preference being given to a student continuing their education in the field of animal or agricultural science. Mr. Yates.
Gives me pleasure to call on Dan Bechtel.
We now come to the class valedictorian. I would then like to introduce a very fine young man representing the class of '79, Mr. Greg Anderson.
Mr. Fulton, teachers, distinguished guests, and parents, on this night, the night signifying the termination of 12 long years of learning, we look back upon our triumphs, our struggles, and our failures. As I stand here this evening, the failures have receded from my mind. The struggles, which were often painful, have become mellowed by the feeling of success. And the triumphs stand out, bringing to us a strong sense of accomplishment. With that sense of accomplishment comes a feeling of gratitude to our parents, our teachers, and our peers. To our parents, we give our most sincere thanks. For what else, besides our love, is there for us to give? You comforted us that first day of school and sustained us through the years that followed. Wherever you went, you took us to, and whatever we know about basic human affections, we learned from you. You did your best to shield us from the hurting and the hate of the outside world, while at the same time keeping us informed. You worried about seemingly trivial things like sniffles and eye strain and sitting up straight. You guided our paths down the road of life, and whatever we are, you taught us to be. So now it is time for us to offer you our thanks and love, and to calm your natural anxieties with an assurance that we will be all right. After the many times, in the heat of an angry moment, you said you would gladly pack our bags, you probably now find yourself reluctant. We, just as you, do not want to let go, but we must, for without letting go, that seed you planted some 18 years ago will not have a chance to blossom. To the teachers who put up with our reluctance to learn, we give you our thanks. We thought we knew our gold and aimed rather low. Through your coaxing and instructions, our sights were raised. As the years passed, you gave your time, energy, and love for the advancements of others. How does one give thanks to a person who put aside his pleasures and sometimes even his own personal ambitions to better the experience of others so young? All we can say to you is a most sincere thanks, and whatever we do, wherever we are, we will remember your teachings and aim as high as we possibly can. To the students of the graduating class of 1979, I thank you for granting me the honor of speaking on your behalf. I would like to leave with this summation. Through the last 12 years, you have been jarred many a times by life. The adult world is no longer a distant dream. It is here, in all its harsh and alluring reality. The learning is far from over, for learning is not just an activity of the classroom, it is part of our day-to-day life. The friendships you have developed over the past 12 years will be in great demand in the future. Cling to them. Cling to your friends and your family. However, always remain autonomous. Keep an open mind in the future. Stand sure, and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. And just a few words before we sign off. As they say in showbiz, I guess, at the top of the show, Mr. Corson gave some thanks to people who have helped so much put this extravaganza on. But I would just like to thank someone who has worked hard all year with the Grad Committee, who has done a very great deal to make the Grad Dance, the Grad Banquet, and this tonight all possible. A very, very special thanks to Graham Corson. One other thing, I can't leave without saying my few words to the graduates. I sort of like that motto they've got up there, we've only just begun. And I would just like to say to the grads, it's a good motto, and what it means to me is that your life is just really getting going, and this is just the first of many milestones, I hope. And I would ask you to please keep this motto in mind tonight, we've only just begun, and use good judgment and common sense in your festivities. Good luck to all of you. Pleasure to have you here this evening. Would those people who received awards come down to the stage area, please?